now watching I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times. What is going on, horror fanatics? Long time no see. I apologize for my absence. You guys know I was on a little hiatus for a couple months. I just recently started posting more videos here over the last few weeks, but I am glad to tell you guys that I am back in full capacity. I appreciate every single one of you guys who have stuck with me through these hardships that I've went through here over the past couple months. And I love every single one of you guys. You guys' support is just truly phenomenal. Like, guys, I can't thank you guys enough for sticking with me through some tough times and, you know, still being subscribers and members, so on and so forth. We obviously have a lot to unpack here with this live stream. I did see some of you guys have already, you know, chatted it up here a little bit. Some of you have asked if the live stream was happening. Obviously it is. Was just, you know, taking a little bit longer because I was in my good buddy Brandon over at I Like Scary's live stream chat box. He was talking a little bit about what we're going to talk about here tonight, which is the shocking breaking news that Melissa Barrera has been fired from Scream 7. Spyglass Media announced it a few hours ago. I'm still just catching up with everything, everybody. You know, I had a long day, had some things I had to take care of, and it truly came as a shock. How I found out was through Steven over at Craven Something Scary. I seen that he was doing a live stream talking about it, and when I seen his thumbnail, I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? And then obviously did a couple, you know, went on Twitter, went on all the social media to check on all the news and stuff. And yeah, Melissa Barrera fired from Scream 7 for some posts that she made talking about some stuff going on overseas that has been well documented here over the last couple months and stuff like that. So guys, obviously a lot to unpack. I just did a little, like a quick 9-minute something video doing my initial thoughts, talking about it. It's safe to say I am not a fan of this news. I'm shocked. I'm gobsmacked. I'm hurt because I'm a fan of Melissa Barrera as Samantha Carpenter. And I feel like, you know, this really throws a wrench into some possibilities for the Samantha Carpenter character that we could have gotten in Scream 7, you know, in terms of direction. Will she flip to Ghostface? Will she not? You know, just so many possibilities that now I feel like is flushed down the fucking toilet. And it's sad, but we're going to unpack all this stuff here as we go along. And I do want to say, guys, let's keep the comment section clean. No political phrasing, please. No, none of that. You know what I mean? No disrespectfulness, none of that stuff. You know, we're going to have a open, honest conversation without making it too political and just discuss how we're feeling in the moment. Discuss now what could be the direction for Scream 7 now that Melissa is no longer involved with the project. Could there be a potential for a Scream 8 where we revisit the Carpenter Loomis storyline, so on and so forth? So again, a lot to unpack. I am sorry for my tardiness. Again, I was, you know, hanging out in the chat box over with Brandon and stuff, just chatting it up with some people over there a little bit, you know, discussing this big news and so on and so forth. So we're going to dig in here, but first I do want to check out you guys' comments because I greatly appreciate you guys all, you know, patiently waiting for this live stream to get started, you know. And first and foremost, I want to acknowledge, because I'm a little bit behind here in the chats, I do want to acknowledge Talking Star Wars sent in a membership message. Just give me a second here while I pull it up. What's going on, Talking Star Wars? Member for 3 months. I greatly appreciate it. And I do want to sit there and say something real quick to my members anybody who is still a member here, I will definitely be having some members only content coming out, some watch parties here within the next week. We will be doing. I will be getting caught up with that as well. I greatly appreciate every single one of you who have stuck around as a member. And I just want to know you guys' support doesn't go unnoticed. And I definitely will be catching up on some of the perks that I owe you guys. You know what I mean? Especially given that I was absent for a little bit there, unfortunately, and stuff like that. But I'm talking Star Wars coming in with his 3-month membership comment. What do you think is going to happen with Scream 7? Well, it's a really good question. Man, it's tough to really tell right now. I know Steven mentioned it on his live stream earlier that apparently the script is going to probably get rewritten altogether. It's going to be a massive overhaul with the script. And I can see it going a couple ways, or even more than a couple ways. I think the first and foremost is obviously the determination of whether or not Neve Campbell is going to be coming back for Scream 7. We all assume that she will be. I don't know if Melissa's firing, if that news might have an effect on Nev's return. I think it all has to do with what they decide to rewrite in terms of script and story. I do think that will play a big role into it as well. I think that already had a big, I already think that aspect was already, a big key into Neve returning. But I do think now that Melissa is gone as Samantha Carpenter, if they don't recast the Samantha Carpenter character, we could see Scream 7 shift back to Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott being the main focal point. Maybe the OGs, for the simple fact is Scream 5, was kind of like Dewey's movie. Scream 6 was kind of Gail's movie. So I can kind of see Scream 7 being Sidney's movie. And it's just, it's such a clusterfuck right now that I really can't give you 100% honest answer on that, but there are some ideas, and I do think, especially if we are going to still go in a direction which we all assumed, whether Melissa was going to be in it or not, was going to be the direction. Maybe we get Stu Macher back in this film, in Scream 7. But with her not being in it, you can still go in that direction because we all have said it before. If we get Stu back, in so many ways, you kind of have to bring Sidney back because, it just makes sense, So talking Star Wars, it's a good question. I just feel like we're going to have to wait until we see or hear more information about what they are going to do with the Samantha Carpenter character, whether she's going to get recast. Are they going to shy away from it? Are they going to shy away from the core 4 in general? That's a great question. So I just feel like that question will be answered as we move along here later on in the months and as we get more Scream 7 news coming out, so on and so forth. But excellent question, talking Star Wars. Excellent question. Give me a second while I actually pull up my laptop, because it will be a lot easier for me to keep track of you guys' comments and all that stuff instead of having to put my freaking finger all over in the screen here because I'm using my phone to stream tonight. But then another comment coming in from Talking Star Wars. I want to get to some of you guys' comments before I really delve into my thoughts and everything else about what could happen with Scream 7 now and so on and so forth now that Melissa is no longer a part of the project. But Talking Star Wars says, will they have Sidney be the main focus now that Melissa is out? Or perhaps send Sam's character away and have Tara and the others be the main focus. See, now it's interesting that you brought up Tara, because I said this in my video that I just posted less than an hour ago, or about an hour ago, about the firing of Melissa and how that could play a role in a Jenna Ortega being in this film, because rumor has it is that given the scheduling for what they want to do at Scream 7 in terms of filming, now we got to wonder if that's even going to happen as early as they thought. But given the closeness and production between what they want to do for Scream 7 and Wednesday season 2, obviously we know Jenna has that project, that given how tight the scheduling would have been, Jenna might not even be hardly in this movie at all. She might have a limited role. So now that Melissa is fired, I don't know. Like, I really just don't know. Like, Tara be the main focal point. I just feel like I'm not saying you can't, but in a way I am saying you can't. I feel like you can't focus on Tara without Sam, because the whole purpose of this new Scream timeline, well, it's a continuation of, the original timeline, but the whole purpose of this is that we are following Billy Loomis's daughter. And without that character, without Melissa, how can you put Tara as the main focal point if really, like, we don't know if she has any ties to, like, we don't know who her dad is, obviously. I know there's a lot of theories out there that Stu could be her father. I personally don't believe in that theory. I think it is too clusterfuckish, in my opinion, because you got to think about it like this, okay? Let's say if Tara is going to be the main focal point, right? Let's say they do go in that direction, and they do reveal that Tara Carpenter's father is actually Stu Macher. Well, my issue with that is the only way that could work is if in the time that Stu was with Christina, raising Samantha, as well as raising Tara, people in Woodsboro would know who the fuck he is. They would have to see him out. You know what I mean? Like, they would have to see his face. The only way that could work, in my opinion, is if Stu Macher got plastic surgery. And we don't want that if Stu's going to return. I'd like to think anyway. Maybe there might be some that might be on board for that. But I know a lot of us Scream fans, especially us Stu truthers, we don't want to see Stu Macher come back with a different face. We want Matthew fucking Lillard to come back as Stu Macher with his actual face, no plastic surgery, none of that. So me personally, I don't see how you do a Scream movie focusing on Tara Carpenter without Samantha Carpenter. You know what I mean? I really don't. Or like I just don't see it. I mean, if you guys have some ideas, throw it in the chat. I'm always open to hearing some fresh ideas, some fresh theories. Me personally, I don't see it working, with Tara being the main focal point, especially if Jenna is slated to not really be in this movie. Now, again, scheduling, being that they obviously now have to rewrite damn near fucking everything that they already had probably set in place for what they were going to do with Scream 7. If they don't get this movie filmed by spring, then maybe, just maybe, that might help be able to bring Jenna in longer into film. Because then if Scream 7 starts filming at a later date, after Wednesday is, she's done doing Wednesday and stuff like that, then maybe, just maybe, you can have a Scream film where it's focused on Tara, being that Jenna should be more available. Excuse me. Me personally, I just think it's too much of a clusterfuck to say, hey, okay, we're going to send Samantha Carpenter away in Scream 7, even though she was the obvious main focal point of these Scream 5 and Scream 6, and now we're going to just focus on her sister Tara. And another reason why that would be a major issue, in my opinion, is because of the dialogue we got from Tara in Scream 6. Remember, she wants to live a normal life. She doesn't want to be a part of this stupid legacy because of Samantha being Billy's daughter. So because of that dialogue, along with other things, I don't see how you can do a Scream 7 movie where you focus on Tara Carpenter and the rest of the core four without Sam. I just don't. I just really, really don't. But hey, we never know what might happen. We'll see. And yes, Kimberly, I seen your comment from a little bit earlier. Yes, this live is happening. I'm sorry for my tardiness once again. I greatly appreciate your patience. All right, so let me pull up the stream here on my laptop, get a little bit more organized and non-discombobulated. Make sure the volume is down so you're not hearing two of me. But yeah, it's just what a disaster that we have stumbled upon in the last few hours. Like, what was a good year, especially for the Scream franchise, what was a good last 2 years for the Scream franchise, has unfortunately taken a turn for the worst. Some might actually see this as a good thing. I know there's some fans out there who didn't really care for the Carpenter Loomis storyline, so some of them may be happy. But me personally, I'm not on board with it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the trajectory that we are heading in now is not a good one, unless you are going to pivot back to Sidney Prescott being the main focal point. But then again, even with that, it's like Samantha now is a part of that. You know what I mean? Like, she is. She's tied to Sidney. She's tied to the OGs. You know what I mean? So, wow, it's crazy, guys. It's just so crazy how this is all unfolded. And it's really a shame. I will say this. Again, I'm not going to get super political. I don't want crazy political phrasing in the chat. Let's be respectful. Let's keep that, type of stuff out of it. But I will say this, and I said it in the video about an hour ago, and I'm going to say it now. It's a damn shame that she got fired for offering her opinion on a situation. I've never had to go through that in my life where I've showed up at work and shared my opinion on something, and they're like, hey, yeah, you lost your job. Goodbye. And I don't understand how that can be acceptable. I really don't. It's not. It's just not acceptable in my opinion. You know what I mean? You should be allowed to critique. It's just like if I were to critique something here on YouTube and YouTube's like, oh, well, you're critiquing this movie and what you said was a little bit too harsh. Now we're going to take your channel down. Like, what? That's part of my job as a film critic, is to critique something. You know what I mean? So, and we as human beings, with certain topics, certain subjects, we're going to critique it. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand how that can happen or why that happens. Like, I know they said they felt like some of her comments were on the anti-Semitic side. I personally, maybe I'm missing something. I don't agree, but regardless to how she feels about something, it's an opinion. People should be allowed to voice how they fucking feel. You know what I mean? Without having to lose their livelihood over it. So that, I think that's the biggest thing for me, why it's really messing with me, because it's like, this is what you guys candor over? Words? Seriously? We got to do better. Like, we have to do better. And it's like, it's sad. It really is. It's sad. Like, and it's, as a huge Samantha Carpenter fan, like, if you guys are a viewer to this channel since day one, or even if you're new here, if you've checked out some of my older videos, I love the Samantha Carpenter character. I love this unpredictability. Is she? Isn't she? You guys know for the longest time that I believe that this character is an undercover Ghostface, that she is working with Stuart Mocker. You guys know I've had so many theories and possibilities on what direction we could go for this character. And now you just flush all that, what we've built in Scream 5 and Scream 6, down the toilet over some words. Over some words. It's mind-boggling and it's sad. It's not right. It really isn't, in my opinion. I mean, like, it's like I told Steven when I was in his chat earlier, and I see you here, Steven. I'm about to pull up some more of you guys' comments. I'm gutted like a fish over this. You know, I really am. Like, I in so many ways, I feel like my insides are on the out. Like I do, because I love this character so much. And it's like, it's just like, it's like Matthew Lillard. Literally, it's like I'm Stephen Orff in the chair right now, and I'm just getting my guts just tore out of me. Like, I am, they fired my honey dip, y'all. Like, I love Melissa Barrera as Samantha Carpenter. I absolutely love her. I love the way she kills. I love her tenacity. I love the unpredictability. And now, what? It's so crazy. Like, I cannot believe this is happening. I cannot believe this is happening. I'm gobsmacked by this. Like, guys, like, I don't get it. I just don't. It's sad. But let me get to some more of you guys' comments and stuff, and then we're gonna, you know, pick up some more with this conversation. Be sure to smash that like button too. Definitely helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And tell me, I see we have 15 people watching. I greatly appreciate you guys all coming in and hanging out with me on my first live stream back in a long time. You know, and especially in this late hour, it's getting a little bit late here on the East Coast. So I know some of you guys got work in the morning and stuff. So I greatly appreciate taking time out of you guys' night to come bust it up with me and talk about the shocking Scream 7 update about Melissa Barrera being fired for a choice of words. Okay. Chocolate Ice 23. See, what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm going to pull up some of you guys' comments on the screen because, again, I'm operating on my computer while I'm using my phone to stream, but I'm actually checking you guys' comments here on my computer and stuff, so I'm kind of multitasking. I see Tyrese Daniels here in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Or Thais Daniels. I apologize. I have to get glasses, guys. I still have to get that done. But Chocolate Ice, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Chocolate Ice saying huge L. Pull that up because I agree with this. Huge L. They made a mistake. Like, people get so butthurt over anything. I have to agree with that. I have to. You know, like, I just feel like it's unfortunate that we are in a time where it's like you offer a critique about something and it's like, oh, well, no, you can't say that. So we're going to fire you or we're going to cancel you, however you want to phrase it, I guess, and stuff like that. Again, I don't really like to use those type of words. It's a little bit too political, in my opinion, for me and stuff. But I mean, when you see stuff like this happening, I can see why people do go in that direction and stuff like that. And it is sad because it's like, it's words. What happened to the days where we could offer a critique about something and then move on? We're not all going to agree on every fucking thing. We're not. It's human nature. We're not supposed to. But we're also not supposed to do is sit there and say, "Oh, well, you said something I didn't like that you said something that I didn't like, you know, I didn't like to hear. So now you don't have a job anymore." It's horseshit. You know, and excuse my French, guys, but I'm a little fired up over this. If you guys can't tell, You know, it's sad. It really is. Like, come on, it's worked. You know what I mean? Like, it's her opinion, and she's entitled to her opinion. You know, whether you agree with her view or not, that is her opinion, and she's entitled to it, just like we all are. We're entitled to critique and have an opinion on whatever we want. You know what I mean? As human beings, as adults. And it's sad that, you know, Hollywood, for all of the stuff, trying to be nice here, and I'm just going to say all the shit that Hollywood does and puts out there and stuff like that, for them to sit there and fire somebody over words is laughable to me. It is. It's laughable. Like, come on. Like, really? Like, all the stuff that gets said in movies that maybe we might not agree with. Does your movies get does your movie get taken away because of that stuff? No. So why fire somebody over basically the same thing? I don't get it. I really, really don't. I just, it's flabbergasting. It's flabbergasting. And I do want to bring this comment up. Hey, my buddy Bob from Hunting for Entertainment. What's going on, my man? Saying much love, brother. I can't talk much, but keeping an ear on everything. Hey, I appreciate it, Bob. And we definitely got to get together for a stream here soon, man. I hope you're doing well. Definitely got to get together, man. I miss you. Jason Dyer saying, you are the man. Hey, what's up, Jason? Thank you for joining me here tonight. Kimberly, what's going on? Hope you're having a great night. Again, sorry for my tardiness, but thank you for hanging out and still being here. Kimberly saying, I am so mad that I canceled our subscription to Paramount Plus because this was the last straw with Paramount for me. Hey, hey, you know, I don't blame you. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't. Like, it's a sad situation what we are witnessing what happened to Melissa Barrera. And, you know, hey, I mean, you never know. Maybe with enough outcry and support from us fans, we might have a change of heart. But even if that were to happen, would Melissa want to come back with this studio? I wouldn't see it happening, because I'm pretty sure she's feeling some type of way with Paramount as well too. And it's a sad situation. It just really is. You know what I mean? Like, again, you should be, as an adult, you shouldn't even have to ask anybody to voice your opinion. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have to walk on eggshells based on how you feel about a certain situation, whether I agree with it or not, whether you agree with it or not. We should all be able to voice and express how we feel, shake hands, and walk away from it. Simple. And it's unfortunate that this is just how it's turning out. Like, you know, it's like you can't have a voice. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It really is. Get to some more of you guys' comments. Kimberly saying that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just glad you're here now. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like Steven said. It's been a long day. And I'm about to pull up Steven's. It's been a long, shocking day. Bob saying, I'm honestly saddened by the news. I really connected to her. I said, thank you. Yes, Bob. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get it. Like in Scream 5, we all shared a lot of the same sentiments. We thought that Melissa could have done a better job of acting in that film. Some writing obviously had to play a part with that. You know what I mean? But in Scream 6, she rectified those acting faux pas that, you know, she took criticism for in Scream 6, you know, she rectified that, those acting faux pas that we talked about in Scream 5. She killed it in Scream 6. Absolutely crushed it. And it's just like, it's sad because, like I said in the video I did an hour ago, and I'm saying it now, I agree with Bob. This Melissa as Sam, she grew on me even more in 6 than in 5. I absolutely love the character. I love that unpredictability that we don't know what we're going to get out of that character. Scream 7 for me, for Sam Carpenter, had so much potential. Had so much potential to be something great. A finale that could be greatness. And now it's like, where do we go from here? There were so many possibilities, guys. Some possibilities that I'm going to actually talk about here on the stream. You know what I mean? Because now, even if we do get a recast of the Samantha Carpenter character, it's not saying the next actress that comes in can't or won't do a better job than Melissa. But as of right now, I only see Melissa Barrera as Samantha Carpenter. So it's going to be really difficult for me to connect with a recasting of the character. Because Melissa as this character was so damn believable and so good, especially in 6. So it's gutting. It really, really is. It really is gutting. Yeah, Adrian, I'm heartbroken too. Adrian K, what's going on? Saying I am heartbroken by the news. Me too. Yeah, obviously you could tell. XV Ryan, what's up? I hope you're having a great night. I missed you too, buddy. I missed all of you beautiful people. You guys don't understand how grateful and how happy I am to be back and gracing you guys with my presence. Words can't describe it. It really doesn't. I'm so happy to be back. Like, love it. Hey, what's going on? My good buddy, child on the corner, Anthony, what's going on? Thank you for the $2 super chat, my man. Saying chances Nev and Jenna don't return 75% in my mind. It's a possibility, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. This news about Melissa could very well hamper Nev Campbell's return. It could. Because, again, Melissa's character is tied in with Sidney Prescott now. And let's park it right here, as my good buddy Steven likes to say. You know what I mean? Steven, if you're still here, had to do it, buddy. Had to plug it. But let's park it right here for a second, all right? Because Anthony makes a great point. You know, like for me, I was hoping that in Scream 7, we got more of an exploration into Samantha and Sydney's relationship. And what I mean by that is because in Scream 5, I felt like they left a door open for a possible revelation that Sydney is actually Samantha's real mother. I've talked about this in a few of my videos that I started on this channel. It is a theory of mine that I heavily believed in, and I still do to a degree, but that also depends on if we're even going to get a Samantha Carpenter character in Scream 7. But the reason why that is important, you know, what Anthony said about Nev returning is because now with Melissa not returning, to me, where do you go with Sydney's character now? Because in my opinion, in Scream 5, you left the door open, and I talked about it before. Like, how did Sydney know that Samantha was Billy's daughter? when in Scream 5 we got no clarification from Dewey nor Gail that either one of them told Sidney who Samantha was. Remember, Gail didn't know who Samantha was. If you don't believe me, go back and rewatch the film and listen to the dialogue. When they first meet, Gail has no idea who Samantha Carpenter is. Absolutely none. She's in the dark. And in Dewey, we didn't get anything from Dewey. No text, no nothing that says, hey, this girl that is being attacked is Billy Loomis's daughter. So it always weighed in the back of my mind, how the hell did Sidney know that Sam was Billy's daughter? And on top of that, I always had an issue with Scream 5 with how Sidney was written in terms of how she was so protective of Samantha. Putting a tracker on her car, somehow having Samantha's phone number, that's something I'm going to talk about in depth in a video or whatever. I have a video that I've been working on talking about that. But if you go back and watch Scream 5, when Sidney finds out that Samantha and them are at Stu Macher's house, she punches in the numbers on her phone as if she knew Samantha's number. How did she get Samantha's number when Samantha is the one who basically shied away from her? Samantha didn't even want her help. So how did Sidney get her phone number? Stuff like that. To me, there was so many things you could explore in terms of a relationship or how the relationship between Sidney and Sam played out in Scream 7. And now that Melissa is fired and we don't know if the Samantha Carpenter character is even going to be recast, now you do have to wonder, is Nev, seeing what the studio just did to Melissa and what the studio did to her last time with the pay, will she even want to come back? And then also he brings up Jenna. Jenna is, from what we have in rumors, is supposed to have a limited role in this movie. I just spoke about it a few minutes ago because of the Wednesday conflict in the scheduling. Excuse me. So now that Melissa is gone, what does that mean for the Tara Carpenter character? What does that mean for Jenna Ortega returning? The chemistry, the core 4 chemistry that we built in Scream 6. What happens with that now? There's a lot more questions to be answered going into Scream 7 now than we had before. So again, oh man, I'm with you right there, Anthony. Good stuff. Good super chat comment, man. That's a great point to bring up. 75% in your mind that they don't come back. I mean, that's a very big possibility. Especially with now they're saying they might have to rewrite the entire script. That's a good point to bring up, man. Child of the Corn saying, sad day to be a Scream fan. They truly fumbled the ball for the future of the franchise. I agree. Jason Dyer saying, what if they do a Stu backstory movie? How he survived, how he has been pulling all of the strings, etc. Maybe things blow over and we get everyone back by then. Love the channel. Thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that, Jason. Man. It's not that I wouldn't want a Stu backstory, but then again, if we do get that kind of blows the reveal that he's still alive, right? If we get a Stu Macher backstory throughout the whole movie, then that ruins the surprise that he's alive. And I'd like to think that we all, even if we are all Stu truthers and we do believe he's alive, I'd like to think we'd want them to save that for the finale, right? Maybe we get a little flashback and a little explanation there in the final act when he's revealing that he's alive, so on and so forth. If we do a whole movie about a Stu backstory, it just for me, in my opinion, ruins the surprise that, yeah, he actually has been alive. You know what I mean? Could it work if they do it right? I mean, it depends on how you do it. It all depends on how you do it. It could work. They would just have to do it in a way where it's not too revealing. That, okay, yeah, this is a Stu Macher backstory. I'll say that, Jason. But not impossible. It's not impossible. One thing I brought up in Brandon's chat about it a little bit ago when I was hanging out there before I came on live is there's a possibility Scream 7 could focus more on Sidney Prescott and the OGs like Kirby Reed, Gale, Kincaid, if he is going to come back. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of rumors about that too. They could shift the focus back to the OGs, maybe not focus on the core four at all, and then maybe down the line, if a new production company takes over the rights to Scream, because we all assume Scream 7 is supposed to be the end of the Loomis Carpenter storyline, right? But if you pivot back to Sidney and the originals and focus on them, then maybe in Scream 8, via time jump, I know it kind of sucks, it kind of stinks, because then we're going to be waiting another probably 4 to 6 years for that movie to come out. But then maybe years later, we could pick back up and finish the Samantha Carpenter Loomis storyline. But then again, even if you do that, it kind of does leave a glaring hole for Scream 7 because, again, all of these characters now are intertwined with each other. Sidney, Gale, Kirby, all of them. They're all intertwined in the same universe. So I don't even know how that would work. They shot themselves in the foot. They shot themselves in the foot, in my opinion. And I just have a feeling they're going to end up just recasting the Samantha Carpenter character. And again, this isn't shade on any new actress that might take up the role. It's just I'm connected to Melissa. So I don't know if this new recasting, if this new actress will make me feel the same excitement in terms of possibilities for the Samantha Carpenter character that Melissa presented. Like, the way that she kills, the way that, like, she just fits the mold. She just does. Melissa fits it. And then when you take that fit away, it's just like, now you're going to give me somebody else who potentially might not fit that mold? It's disheartening. It really is. It's like, come on, y'all. Like, man. Hey, what's going on? I'm going to ALX 19881. Thank you for stopping in. I greatly appreciate it. Saying this is embarrassing and disgraceful, not to mention infuriating. I agree. The production company could not have hurled a bigger insult to the fans. I think this might have to be the second, insult, because I think the number one insult will always be Nev not getting paid what she deserved. I think that will always be the top of the list. But they're 2 for 2 now. They're 2 for 2. Back-to-back films. Back-to-back movies. Now, do you basically take away a likable actress that we have grown to love in the franchise? This is a second straight movie. What are we doing here? Like, come on. Why build something just to tear it down? You can't do that to people. You can't do that to the fans that pay their hard-earned money to see not only the movie, but the actors that they fell in love with play in these movies. You're going to lose your fan base like that. You are. And it's kind of already happening. I've already seen some people saying, oh, I won't watch Scream 7 now that Melissa's not in it. Even if they recast Samantha Carpenter, I won't watch it because Melissa's not in it. So you're already starting to lose people. And it's sad for Christopher Landon because that guy is a damn good director. And I'm sure he had some phenomenal ideas on what direction he wanted to go with the Samantha Carpenter character. And I'm not saying that he still might not if they recast the character. But I'm talking about in terms of Melissa Barrera herself. I just had this feeling that he was going to do something great and make Melissa an icon of this franchise. And now he ain't going to be able to do it because she's not going to be in it. And then, like Steven said earlier, when Christopher, shared his post about, he put a heartbreak emoji and, he said something like, stop yelling, like it's not his fault. You know what I mean? He basically didn't even know and stuff. Guys, anybody that comes across this stream, I implore you, don't blame Christopher Landon. This ain't his fault. He's just a director. It's not Radio Silence's fault because they're still producing the movie. It's not Christopher Landon's fault. Do not blame those guys. They have to go with what they're basically being told by the studio in so many ways. He's still got to make his movie. It's not his fault that the studio decided to do this to Melissa. So please, I implore you guys, don't do that. I'll be the first to say it. When Nev, when stuff happened with Nev last year, you know what I mean? Because, I was still freshly green into how this stuff works or whatever. I threw a little shade at Radio Silence, because, they're the directors. I'm like, well, hey, maybe they have some stroke behind this. They don't. And I made sure I apologize for those, for what for me giving them shit. So I'm saying it here now, guys, it's not the director's fault. You know what I mean? It's not Christopher Landon's fault at all. It's the studio's fault because you got so upset over a choice of words that you decided, oh, well, we don't want you in the film anymore. And it's dumb. It is so dumb. It's mind-boggling. Kimberly saying, yes, the studios are not currying favor with me, especially since how long they allowed both the actors and the writer strikes to go on for it. Yeah, I agree. And that's the sad thing, too. Come on, we just got done with this strikes and we reached some deals tentatively and stuff. People are just getting back to work, and then you pull this shit on Melissa? Come on now, that's not right. Excuse me. And now this may hurt her for future projects as well. Over some words. It's not right. Talking Star Wars saying, Polar came up with a great Stu theory. What if he has a voice clip of Dewey? Calls into Gail's talk show. Yeah, that theory has been floated around for a while now. I kind of wish they would have did that in Scream 6, and we didn't get it. But I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. I think that would be crazy cool, especially if you're going to kill Gail Weathers off. How anticlimactic would that be? Is the last voice she hears before she dies is Dewey's, but it's really Stu using the Ghostface modulator like Roman had. That would be crazy. I love it. I love that theory. I am super behind on the chats. I know I am. Steven, if you're still here, my friend, saying, hey, Marcus, what a shocking day. Yes, you are not lying, man. You are not lying. Yeah, I got to catch up with a lot of you guys' comments. I am so behind. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit so I can catch up. What's up, Denisha? I hope you're having a great night. One of my modulators, as I like to call my moderators. Thank you for stopping in. hanging out here with me tonight in this late hour. Denisha saying there's a time and place to talk. She should have said that the first place. I mean, I feel like this. You know, I just feel like this. As adults, we pay our own bills, yada, 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 this and that. We should be able to say whatever we want as long as it's not directly hurtful or like to somebody else. Like even if it is hurt, you're offering a critique, you're offering an opinion. Some opinions aren't meant to be some sunflowers and roses. They're not. So I feel like as an adult, you know what I mean? She has that right to voice her opinion, regardless whether it's the time or the place. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? And this is coming from somebody who offers his opinion whenever I see fit. You know what I mean? So I'm just in that boat with her. It's like there's to me, there's no time and place, really for anything, in my opinion. Like, if you are feeling a certain type of way about something and you want to voice your opinion, even if you know that some people may not agree with it, you should be entitled to do so because you are an adult. You're your own person. You know what I mean? Like, not every word that we utter as human beings are going to be heartfelt and nice, especially when it comes to criticism. So, I mean, some people say she should have chosen her words more carefully. Why? She's an adult. She should be able to express how she's feeling in that moment. If you don't agree with it, that's your choice. Respect that. But just like we respect you respect just like I will respect your views and your point of view on something, respect mine. And I feel like that should be the same for Melissa. But that's just my opinion. That's just my take on the situation. Get to some more of you guys' comments here. Steven. Give me 1 second because this bad boy is acting a little funny here with me pulling up the comment. But I'm just going to read it right now. Steven saying, time for Sydney to be the focus again. I mean, I feel like that might be the direction we're heading in. Maybe we don't get any core 4 at all. Who knows? Like, maybe that's the direction they're going to end up heading in. Hey, and I'm not against it. I'm not against that at all. It's just, I just feel like they're so intertwined now. You know what I mean? Because of what we got in 5 and 6. They're all a part of this story. So I don't know, man. Like, I love Sidney Prescott. I'm not going to be mad if we get another Sidney Prescott movie. But at the same time, if we don't have any core 4, then why did we make Scream 5 and Scream 6? Why did we go in this direction? You know what I mean? Like, we'll see, Steven. It's going to be interesting, man. Oh, man, it's going to be so interesting to see what ends up happening, with Scream 7. Like, now that Melissa's no longer in the fray and stuff. And again, they could recast the character. I personally am not fond of it, but what can you do? I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to watch the movie. I'm a Scream fan, not just a Melissa Barrera fan. It's just like I said when Scream 5 came out. You know what I mean? Like, yes, if Sydney and the originals aren't in it as much and we're focusing on a new group of characters, cool. I'm still a Scream fan. You know what I mean? So I want to see how it plays out and what fresh ideas they have for us. But I agree, Steven. We might be going back to focusing on Sydney for Scream 7 permanently. Like, we'll see. Now it's funny. What's up, Kelly Williams? Real quick, guys, if you're wondering why I'm not pulling up some more comments here on the screen, is because for some reason StreamYard's acting a little funky with me right now on my phone. So I'm just going to read some of you guys' comments here out loud, because again, I am also looking at the stream from my computer and looking at you guys' comments from there as well. So I will read off you guys' comments like that as well. So first and foremost, I want to say, Keely, I hope I'm saying that right. It's been a while. I apologize if I'm not, but I'm glad to see you here. I greatly appreciate you stopping in. It's been a while. But Kelly's saying Mickey's dead, unfortunately. Mickey. So I see a conversation about Mickey. So somebody must have brought up Mickey in the chat. One thing I will say about Mickey is what's interesting to me about Scream 6. Give me a second here. Going through some issues. There we go. What's interesting to me about okay, there we go. We got that situation taken care of. There we go. So let me pull up this comment real quick, because I'm far behind. Because I do want to pull this up. Yeah, Kelly's saying Mickey's dead, unfortunately. Yeah, Mickey is dead. But one thing interesting about Scream 6, I don't know if you guys caught this, but Mickey's mask wasn't brought up, and neither was Amber Freeman's mask. None of those masks were found at the scene of these, killings in Scream 6. So I'm not sitting there saying, Mickey's alive or anything like that, or Amber's alive. We know she's dead. She dead. But I do think it's interesting that their masks weren't used in Scream 6 and weren't brought up in terms of the countdown. You know what I mean? So could there be potential family members, that might show up in 7? I mean, maybe. Don't know. We'll have to find out. We'll have to see. But I do find that aspect of Mickey really interesting, is that we didn't see his mask be used in Scream 6, and we didn't see Amber Freeman's mask be used neither. So, but yeah, Mickey's dead, at least from what we know. I mean, I'd be really shocked if they ever brought him back. I mean, he got lit up like a Christmas tree. But hey, I mean, you never know. He didn't get shot in the head. He got shot in the torso, but he didn't get shot in the head. So, never know. Guys, if I don't get to some of you guys' comments, I apologize. You guys know how this goes. Once we get a lot of comments rolling through, it's hard to keep up with everything. So I'm trying to go, get to them accordingly as I can. ABCDE, what's going on? Thank you for joining tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Saying, what if Scream 7 ignores 5 and 6 with a new story entirely Smith Sydney? Now, I don't know what you mean by Smith, but Sydney, I can see that happening. I really can. I can see them focusing completely on Sydney now. And maybe this is her happy ending. This is the happy ending that should have been Scream 3. Especially if Stu Macher is revealed to be alive and he does come back. It's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. You know what I mean? It can be done. And we have all said, regardless to what, whether core 4 or not, Scream 7, if you bring Stu Macher back, it would only be fitting if Sydney is back as well. Because it just has to play out that way. It just does. It wouldn't feel like bringing Stu back, period, would be cool. But having Sydney there for the reveal that Stu is still alive, that's the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? So they could ignore 5 and 6, but then again, how do you, I mean, I'm struggling to see how you do that when you have pitted these new characters in with the legacy characters. They are all intertwined with each other. They have relationships. You know, Samantha and Gail had a relationship. Tara and Gail had a relationship. You know what I mean? From what we've seen in Scream 5. So, like, how do you work around that? How do you exclude the events of Scream 5 and Scream 6 without the, like, how do you do that in Scream 7? I don't know. I don't know. They're all intertwined. Like, this situation has created quite the cluster, in my opinion. It really has. You know, because if you were going to do this, if you were going to go in this direction in terms of firing Melissa, my thing is this. Okay, now, obviously, this, I don't think anybody foresaw this happening, even the studio. But if something like what happened came along, right, with what Melissa said or did, whatever you want to call it, if you as the studio knew if something like this was going to, if you knew the opportunity like this could arise to where something like this, you were going to fire somebody, one of the cast members, over something like this situation, then why agree to introduce these new characters at all, right? That's just how I feel about it. Why introduce these new characters? And why in Scream 6 would you not just choose to end it then? End the Samantha Carpenter Loomis storyline in 6. Because I'd like to think, as if you're a studio and you're built on professionalism, or at least you try to act like you do, you know, and stuff. If you had it in the back of your mind, well, if this actor writes something on social media about something that could be controversial, well, we're going to exclude them out of the movie. Well, then why not just, if you had that type of idea in your back pocket, then why not just say, you know what? We want to do a 2-parter covering Billy Loomis's daughter. We end it in the 6th movie, and then we focus to shift back to completely Sidney Prescott and cap this off then. And then now going forward, we'll focus on something entirely different. So if that makes sense, you know what I mean? If you guys catch where I'm going with that. So, like, because again, look how fast the studio pulled the plug on Melissa. Look how fast that happened. So that tells me, to some degree, the studio has it in their back pocket. Well, if one of you actors goes on social media and you post something that we don't see that is acceptable by our standards, we're going to cut you out of the project. Now, those will say, well, they could always recast. Okay. But the issue with recasting is that you are hurting your fan base, because you're making us fall in love not only with the characters, but the actors who portray the roles. So when you go into recast mode for a character, you leave a sour taste in a fan's mouth that liked the actor that played the role before. You do. And what if the person you have recast went through a quick little lag? I apologize. But going through some issues. Going through a little bit of technical difficulties, guys. I apologize. It is raining here in PA, so might stumble across some of those issues here during the stream here. We went an hour solid without any problems, so I'm grateful for that. So let's hope it, kind of stays that way. You know what I mean? Always go through a little faux pas here and there. But just because you recast a character, that doesn't mean the fans are going to like the actor that takes over that role. You are hurting the fan base by making decisions like this, in my opinion. You are. So it's mind-boggling. It truly is. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. Kimberly's saying, I don't know Nev and I didn't know Nev and Courtney might not return now. I'm even iffy about Hayden returning after this, but I think you got a better shot at getting Hayden back than they do Nev or Courtney. I mean, I think Courtney will be on board regardless. I do. Nev, it depends on the money, of course, but the story as well. So we'll have to see. It's up in the air. It really is. It's up in the air. Courtney, for me, I think it is going to come back regardless. I just do. I don't have I have no doubts about Courtney. That's just me, though. Hayden, I think Hayden's just getting back in the thick of things, so I think she will definitely be back. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I will say that Melissa being fired, but even more so, the direction of where you're going to take the story, I feel like we'll have a big play in Nev and everybody else returning as well. In terms of Hayden, the OG characters. I think the direction in terms of story is going to be the key. Now that Melissa's gone, in so many ways, they shouldn't have a problem getting Nev money-wise. That should open up a little bit more money for Nev. Because the thing about recasting Samantha Carpenter now, if that's the direction they're going to go in, is now this newer actress who's going to take over the role, she's not going to cost as much. So I don't know. We'll see. Right. Exactly. Yes, Courtney is about her money. That's true. Yes. Hey, what's going on, TJ Sanders? Thank you for stopping in. I greatly appreciate it. Saying thank you for thoughts and prayers. It's arm surgery to repair nerve issues. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, yeah, definitely. You're in my thoughts and prayers, buddy. I hope you get that taken care of, and I hope that everything goes well. That stinks. I mean, like that's sad. You know what I mean? Like I don't like having to hear people go through hardships like that, especially with their health and stuff like that. So my prayers are definitely with you, my friend. Kelly saying, whomever better be popping and a definite fan favorite. I don't know if you're talking about like in terms of recasting the Samantha Carpenter character, but even if they did, okay. So let's say if they got somebody to play the role of Samantha Carpenter, right? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. If that's not what you're talking about, then hit the chat and let me know. But if you are talking about basically like a fan favorite type of actress taking over the Samantha Carpenter role, that's cool. But at the same time, it's like, in my opinion, I'm a fan of Melissa Samantha Carpenter because she got me to invest. She got me to buy into her playing that role. So I'm always willing to give somebody a chance. But as of right now, I just don't see no other actress as Samantha Carpenter. I just don't. I mean, Melissa, especially in Scream 6, was so believable in that role. Like, she was so good as that character. Like, it's hurtful. I'm so hurt over that. It's hurtful. Like, it really is. Like, I love me some Melissa Barrera. Like, guys, that's my honey dip, y'all. I'll be honest, that's my crush right there. That's my girl. You know what I mean? That is my honey dip. As Samantha Carpenter, I love her. So I personally, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not. That does not mean I'm not willing to give the recast. If they recast a character, that doesn't mean I'm not going to give the new actress a chance. I'm definitely going to give them a chance. But I just don't like. I just don't like the circumstances, how they played out, and why she was fired. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's stupid. That's like you walking in. That's like you walking into work tomorrow, right? And you look at one of your coworkers' shoes or your boss's shoes and was like, "Oh, I really don't like those shoes." And they look at you and be like, "Oh, you don't like my shoes? You're fired." What? Like, really? That's what we done? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's a dumb reason to cost somebody their livelihood. I don't think a lot of people understand the ramifications, excuse me, of what the studio just did to Melissa. Because now this could be a snowball effect. Now there might be some other studios that might try to blackball her. Do you think that's right? I don't. Over words? I don't agree with it. I don't. Like, I'm sorry. It's words. Whether you agree with said choice words or not. Like, whether you agree with it or not, that should not cost somebody their job. Not every word we utter is supposed to be, oh my goodness, I love, everything's so wonderful and it's not always meant to be that way. You got to have some critique. You got to. Like, come on. You got to have a little bit of critique about something because nothing's perfect. Nothing in this world is perfect. Nothing, absolutely nothing in this world is perfect. So not every choice of word can be perfect. Not every choice of word can be agreeable. That should not mean you lose your livelihood. That should not mean that you lose your source of fucking income. It shouldn't. That's her livelihood. Matthew Lillard talks about it all the time at these conventions. Like, guys, there's sometimes these actors, they go months, years without getting any work. Now you add in this stuff. Like, come on. Like, so you're going to take somebody's livelihood away from them because of some stuff that was said? I don't agree with it. I just don't. It's not right. That's that woman's livelihood. That's how she feeds her family. That's her dream. You know, obviously she wanted to be an actress all her. You're going to take away somebody's dream and their vision for themselves, all their hard work that they put in over the years, honing their craft, all because you didn't like what she said or what they said? It's not fucking right. This ain't about what political spectrum you're on. It doesn't, it's not, it has nothing to do about that. It has something to do with wrong and right. And nobody should lose their income and their livelihood and what they worked so hard for their entire fucking life because they have an opinion, because they have a voice. Nobody should have to go through that. Not her, not you, not me, nobody. It's not fair. It's not right. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, that's just my opinion on the matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with it. I don't. Like, it's not right at all. It's sad. It really is. It's just sad, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But this is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we're at right now with Scream 7. Melissa's out. Now we have to start looking towards other directions. A recasting of the character might be in order. So I want to ask you guys this, okay? Let's get off some of the, you know, the Melissa talk now for a second. Or whatever. If there's an actress that you would want to play Samantha Carpenter, if they're going to continue the Carpenter Loomis storyline in Scream 7, what actress would that be? I don't have one. I don't have one. My clip is empty, you guys. I empty 6 shots and that's it. Like, I don't see nobody else as Samantha Carpenter. But that doesn't mean you guys don't see somebody else as Samantha Carpenter. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think would be a suitable replacement for Melissa Barrera as Samantha Carpenter? Because again, I'm, as of right now, I don't have nobody that comes to mind. That's my girl. Like, I absolutely love Melissa Barrera as Samantha Carpenter. So maybe I'm being a little bit of biased. You know what I mean? But I just don't. Denisha saying, Marcus, she knew it would be controversial. She was wrong for saying it might be right. She did that to herself too. Okay. Even if it is controversial, there's plenty of controversial topics that get talked about. Plenty. She should be allowed as an adult, as a human being, to express how she's feeling in that moment. Just because a comment may be controversial or whatever, that doesn't mean you should lose your job over it. Hell, there's things that, like I say, I go to work. You know what I mean? I've been in work in the restaurant industry since I was a teenager. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard controversial statements made behind those kitchen walls. Did that get anybody fired? No. Because that's all right. We can say, oh, she did it to herself too, but I don't agree with that, because as an adult, we have the right to express how we feel. It's freedom of speech. And that's the only political term that I will use here tonight on this stream. It's freedom of speech. You don't have to like what she said. You don't have to agree with it. But that is our right as human beings. And we have to respect that. You could say something, Denisha, that I don't agree with, that I might find controversial. I'm not going to exclude your right from saying it. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, you can't come back, you know what I mean, in my community for that. If it's blatantly like attacking somebody else, that's different. Like if you're coming in the chat and you're sitting there attacking somebody, that's a different ballgame. But if you're expressing how you feel about a certain situation, I'm not going to eat your lunch for it. It is what it is. That's how you feel. You know what I mean? If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. All I ask is that, you know what I mean, we say it in a term to where it doesn't get too political. That's it. That's all I ever ask for. And you guys know that here. That's it. You know what I mean? All I ask, I mean, even if some of you guys' comments, I understand, might come off as somewhat political, you guys know how to word it. You guys know how to make it to where it's not a big political discussion. That's why I don't, it's like, okay, cool. We're not delving into the politics of it. You're saying what you say. You're saying how you feel. You're not hurting anybody else. Cool. Even if I don't agree with it. Okay. That's how you feel. That is your right. Just like it is her right. It's her social media account. She operates it. She can do whatever she pleases. Even if I didn't agree with what Melissa had to say. That's her right. I'm not going to take that away from her. I damn sure wouldn't take her livelihood away from her for that. Like, we've gotten to the point where we critique something. We offer our opinion on something, and then it's like, oh, no, you can't say that, so you're not allowed here. What? Come on. Come on. To me, that's dumb. I don't like that, because that's like somebody trying to tell you how to speak. That's like somebody trying to tell you how to feel. And to me, that's not right. I just don't agree with that. But again, hey, you know what I mean? Hey, Denisha, I feel you. I feel what you're saying. Don't think I'm coming at you. I feel where you're coming from. I do. I see your point of view from it, even if I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? I still love you. I ain't going to sit there and take your fucking modulator tag away from you. Like, you know what I mean? That's my whole point, you guys. That's my whole point. Is that you as an adult should be allowed to express how you're feeling. If you have a critique about something, you should be allowed to critique something the way you see fit, because that's how you're feeling in that moment, without somebody pointing a fucking finger in your face saying, well, you're fired. You don't have a job no more. You can't feed your family anymore because I don't like what you said. I'll say this. Can you imagine what these executives and studio personnel, what they say behind closed doors? Just because they don't post about it or say nothing doesn't mean they're not feeling or thinking the same thing. They just choose not to express it the way certain people do choose to express it. Doesn't mean that they're not thinking or saying the same thing. And that's what I don't like about it. It's mostly people who probably feel the same way and are thinking the same way. that are sitting there firing this girl because she went public about it. It's dumb to me. Like, it's not right. That's just me, though. That's just me. You know what I mean? XV Ryan saying the modulator wrenches do be looking sweet, though. I mean, hey, I mean, buddy, I mean, I can throw you one. Just say the word. If you would like to become a modulator here, just let me know. You've been here for a while now, Ryan, so I trust you, my friend. So just let me know. Oh, snap. Kimberly's saying if you're not calling for violence or to say it's okay for people to break the law, then you're fine. Hold on, let me reread that so I can fully understand. So Kimberly's saying if you're not calling for violence or to say it's okay for people to break the law, then you're fine. I mean, that's I mean, in so many ways, that's kind of how I feel. Like if like she said her opinion on a certain situation, she's not sitting there saying people should get murdered, people should this and this and that, and she didn't break the law. So I agree with that. Like, yes, like it's crazy. It's a crazy situation. It really is. But what can we do? We live in an era and a time, unfortunately, where it's like everything you say. I was always taught, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Some words can definitely be hurtful to people. You know what I mean? Definitely. You know what I mean? And I understand that. Excuse me. But I was always taught it's not what you say, it's what you do. You could say a lot of things. That don't mean you mean it. That don't mean you're going to act upon it. It's not always about what you say, it's about what you do. That's how always actions speak louder than words. So me personally, I read what she said. You know what I mean? And stuff. Again, I don't try to get into all that political stuff and all that and stuff, but me personally, from a standpoint of her expression, how she felt in that moment, coming from her background, she says how she felt. What's wrong with that? Shouldn't get you fired. ABCDE saying even how he fell down when Nancy Loomis shot her looked like Billy when he fell down. You must be talking about Mickey, I'm going to assume. You're going to be talking about Mickey. I'm going to assume that, so let me know in the chat. Hey, I mean, you got to remember, though, after Mrs. Loomis shot him, Sydney and Gail fucking emptied the fucking clip on homeboy. They lit his ass up worse than a Christmas tree, bro. So I don't know. No, Mickey did not get shot in the head. He didn't get shot in the head. Just like Charlie Walker didn't get shot in the head either. So I don't know. That would be nuts if Mickey came back. I would shit my pants. I probably would. Like, I would fucking geek. You know, boyfriend killer. Sid, the man is lying. What's going on, Sydney? Experience a little bit of deja vu. Let's go. Oh, man. Oh, Mickey. Good old Mickey. Oh, let me do this right. One boy said, Billy Loomis was a sick fuck who tried to get away with it. Mickey is a sick fuck who wants to get caught. Yeah. Let's go. I love it. Let's go. Nice little diversion from, the unfortunality of Samantha, Melissa being canned as Samantha. Hey, what's up, Chris Sims? Chris saying, new to the channel, just want to say hi. Hey, thank you for stopping in. Just want to say hi to everyone. Thank you for stopping in, and thank you for becoming a new subscriber here, Chris. I seen you said that in Steven's live stream, and I greatly appreciate it. I want to thank you again, and I hope you enjoy all the content that I end up putting out. You can check out some of my older videos, and I hope you end up enjoying some of the newer videos that I end up having coming out, as well as these live streams. You know what I mean? Awesome to have you here. It really is. All right, say less, buddy. After the stream, I will sit there and make sure you get that that wrench attached to your name. Hey, what's up, Robbie? I hope you're doing well. Robbie's saying Geraldine Viswanathan, I hope I'm saying her name right, could play her. Take a look, Marcus. Okay, let me look her up. I'll look her up. I'll give her a look real quick. Geraldine. Make sure I spell that name. Okay, I think somebody said this earlier. Holy shit. Wow. She favors Melissa a lot. Holy shit. Wow. She looks a lot like Melissa Barrera. I see in terms of look. Yeah, I can see in terms of look where you say that. I can see that. But see, it's not just the look for me though, Robbie. It's the overall, actress and the character. You know what I mean? And the actress and how she portrayed that character. I'll have to see if this girl's in any horror movies. And if she is, then maybe I'll have a better critique on if she could kill the Samantha Carpenter role in Melissa's absence. But in terms of the facial features, yeah, she definitely favors Melissa. She definitely does. Holy shit, she does. That shit is crazy. It's spooky. Ooh. Good looking girl. Definitely a good looking girl. She looks a lot like Melissa. But then again, like I said, it's just Melissa in general. Like, the tenacity that she showed when she had to be tenacious. And Scream 6, the emotion that she showed at that table, the tears were actually real. It wasn't like Scream 5 where I felt like them tears aren't for real. You know what I mean? She's kind of faking it there. The overall performance of Melissa in 6 really, really put her over the top for me. So, again, I just feel like it's going to be tough from an acting standpoint and from a character standpoint for what we built with the Samantha Carpenter character. That's going to be the key to me. You know what I mean? That's the key. Because I love the way that Melissa portrayed Samantha, especially in 6. So, but hey, nothing's impossible. There's a lot of talented actresses, so hey, if they do decide to recast the Samantha Carpenter character, I will say this, because I try my best to stay positive. You know what I mean? I just hope the new actress does a good job of making me believe that she is Samantha Carpenter. Because that's all I can hope for at this point. That's it. I don't get Melissa. So this new actress is going to have to make me feel her the way that Melissa made me feel her. That's basically what I'm saying. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We will see how it plays out. Holy crap, we're already an hour and a half into the stream. This time went fast. It doesn't even feel like it, y'all. I will say I'm probably going to end the stream about the 2 hour mark. So we probably got like a solid 25 more minutes and stuff because I do have an early day ahead of me tomorrow. So these last 25 minutes, we're going to, venture off of the Melissa talk. I feel like I've vented my frustrations. We all have. So now we're going to talk about basically what we want to see for Scream 7. Like, now that they're basically going to have to rewrite the entire story from what it seems like they're saying, what direction outside of Sydney, outside of Sydney returning and possibly Stu Macher, what other direction would you like to see the movie take? Like, what about our remaining core 4 characters? Do they even be in this movie? If so, do they get killed off? It's going to be interesting to see. That, to me, also is the key about this whole situation. How do you utilize the rest of the core 4? Are they even going to be in Scream 7? And if they are in Scream 7, how much are they going to be in Scream 7? It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, that's right, Chris. That's right. Yep, that's right. Charlie was underrated. Yes, he was. Or let me say that right. Yes, he is. Because Charlie's still alive. I don't care what anybody said. My boy survived that stab to the shoulder. I don't care. They try to say it's the heart. That shit was the shoulder. Or whatever. That shit was the shoulder, man. Or whatever. I don't care what anybody say. My boy Charles is still out there alive. He's out there. He's the one with Stu Macher behind the stab subreddit. He's the one helping Stu, you know what I mean, recruit all these cult members, all that stuff. Charlie still lives. Let's go. Robbie saying, I love Melissa Marcus. Don't get me wrong. Just saying she looks like her. No, she does, man. Like, she really does. Like, this photo I have pulled up here on the computer, like one of the first photos, if you look up her name right now, and it's the largest photo to the left, that's why I was like, oh my God. Like, she looks exactly like Melissa in that photo. It's nuts. It is. Like, she looks like a Melissa Barrera would at like 28 years old. Because Melissa, she's my age, basically. Melissa's like almost in her mid-30s. So, and one thing about this girl, Geraldine, that would line up a little bit better in terms of the age factor, because I said this before too, in terms of like Scream going forward with Melissa as like the main like final girl after Sydney, the issue you could run into that is her age, because she is entering her mid-30s and stuff like that. This girl's 28 years old, which kind of lines up with Samantha Carpenter's real age in the movie. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you wanted to keep the Scream franchise going with Samantha Carpenter as your main focal point going forward after even 7, yeah, I could see it. I could see it. The age is there and everything. So, but she does, man. Like, she really does look like fucking Melissa. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's spooky. It is. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, so I'm assuming ABCD, you believe Mickey is alive. That's interesting. That might have to be for a future theory video for me to talk about and maybe explore those possibilities. Hey, I said it earlier in the stream. His mask, along with Amber Freeman's mask, was not used in Scream 6 as part of the countdown. It wasn't left at any of the crime scenes. Who knows? Maybe that was done for a reason. Chris saying, yeah, that's what I was thinking. He's clicked up with Stu. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I'm so glad that I am not alone with this theory. Let's go. Because you think about it like this, guys, right? This is why I believe Charlie Walker, if he is alive, he is the perfect candidate to be an accomplice to Stu Macher. Because in the original Scream 3 that we were supposed to get with Stu returning, the kids that were supposed to be helping Stu as part of the Ghostface cult was the Woodsboro Cinema Club. Who in Scream 4 was the leader of the Woodsboro Cinema Club? My man, Charlie Walker. So to me, it would not only make sense, it would kind of be like a full circle moment. It really would be. And it would make sense because Charlie is that type of mind. Remember what Jill said? Jill said Charlie was the idea man. Stu, to me, and if we believe Stu is the one that was on the phone with Tara, right, in Scream 5, when Ghostface says elevated horror, what is that? You know what I mean? That tells me if that is Stu, Stu is really not up to par with the new age. He's not caught up with the new age line of how horror movies are viewed and how horror movies are perceived, so on and so forth. So that also may mean he's not really all that caught up with how technology has changed in social media and stuff like that. Charlie Walker, however, is, because of him being the leader of the Woodsboro Cinema Club. Him and Jill were the ones uploading the murders online. So it would make perfect sense for Charlie to be his accomplice, because Charlie would know all about that uploading to social media and posting and starting a stab subreddit, recruiting Ghostface killers. He would know all about that. So yes, that's right. He's clicking up with Stu. Let's go. Yes. I love it. Get me pumped. Let's go. I would love for that to happen. Absolutely would love for. Could you imagine Charlie Walker, Stu Macher together killing people in a Scream movie? What did Christopher Landon say on Steven's live stream when Steven interviewed him a little over a month ago? If you watch that live stream, Christopher Landon said, there will be blood. Imagine if Charlie and Stu were together slicing and dicing. That might be the most violent, most vicious, most bloody, disgusting Scream movie we might ever witness. And I'm all here for it. I want it. Make it happen. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man. Damn it. Oh, they got to make it happen. I would be so happy. So happy. Because I say it all the time. You don't have to like Charlie Walker as a character outside of the Ghostface costume. But inside that Ghostface costume, that was one mean son of a bitch, man. That bull was, what? He would get after it. He would get after it, man. So count me in, man. I'm all aboard that Charlie Walker theory, man. I'd like to think that maybe I was the originator of it. I don't know. I'd like to think so. I know I did videos, months ago leading into Scream 6 talking about it. I've done Easter egg videos that point to Charlie Walker possibly being alive, given what we've seen in Scream 5 and Scream 6. So, hey, I'm down. I'm down with the pound. Let's go. I'm so down for it. That would be so cool. Kelly's saying elevated horror is basically a small cast. Yeah, okay, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, in terms of, if we believe that was Stu on the phone with Tara in the opening scene of Scream 5, the way that he kind of like didn't know what elevated horror was, like, that's why I think it would be a little difficult to believe him actually being the one behind the stab subreddit. Stu would need to be a little bit up to date. He would need help becoming more up to date. And that's where Charlie comes in. Okay, so man, I'm getting more than what I bargained for. TJ2, let's go. Man, I love it. TJ Sanders saying Charlie is in hiding with Stu. Should we rewrite Scream 7? Don't bring other in the core 4. Hey, listen, that's potential. That's a potential too. We might not see the core 4 in Scream 7. We might not. I said it in Brandon's chat box earlier, and I think I said it a little bit ago here on the stream. I'm gonna say it again. There's a possibility that if there's no core 4 in Scream 7, by the time Scream 8 rolls around, if a new production company takes over the rights and Paramount gets rid of the rights to Scream and some other production company picks it up, they might want Melissa to come back as Samantha. They might want to pick up back with the core 4 years later after the events of Scream 6. That's not impossible to think for Scream 8. It's not. The only issue I feel like you do run into that is like, then you intertwined these new characters with the older characters. So like, in terms of the events of Scream 7, that is going to leave a little bit of a hole, because then we're going to be wondering like, okay, so why aren't they in the movie? They all know each other. If Ghostface is coming after Sydney, Gail, Kirby, so on and so forth, why are they not still coming after the core 4 as well? That's the only like real blaring issue that I see with that. But any great writer and any great director can find a way. I do think Scream 7 with no core 4 is a possibility, and I think Scream 8 with the return of the core 4 and possibly the return of Melissa Barrera as Sam Carpenter is in play. I do believe that. I really do. Chris Sims saying, especially that scene with that hoodie guy on the phone. See, thank you. Listen, and my buddy Steven, he blew that photo up and he like brightened it up and stuff. It's obviously not Roy Culkin, but I'm sorry. To me, that guy looks like Roy Culkin. He favors him. He does. To me, he favors him. That's just my opinion. I think he looks like him. I really do. I know some don't believe that, and that's okay. You don't have to. Me personally, I think that guy, that actor, favors Roy Culkin. I do. And then, of course, the Charlie Easter eggs in Scream 5. Can you just tell her Charlie called? And plus, as Sister Pam pointed out as well, stabbing through Tara's hand. That we know Charlie did that to Olivia in Scream 4. I brought it up in my Easter eggs video. The cameras in Scream 6 in Jason Carvey's house that was watching him. Who else used cameras to record the victims or to at least watch the victims on camera? Jill and Charlie did that. Just saying, there's multiple Easter eggs in 5 and 6 that I've talked about here on this channel that point to the possibility of Charlie Walker being alive. We'll see. Oh my gosh. Oh. A, B, C, D, E saying Charlie, Stu, and Mickey. Wow. Bloodbath. Bloodbath. Wow. You're talking about that might be the most violent Scream movie we would ever see. Most likely. Yeah. The most violent. The most violent. I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. Let's go. Hey, I'm not against Mickey at all. I think Mickey's a great killer and stuff like that. I do have Charlie and obviously Stu a little bit ahead of him in like my Ghostface rankings, but I don't have no qualms with Mickey. The only issue I ever really had is how he was, I mean, and I get it because he was a younger guy and stuff like that. For me, I just didn't like how, as an active serial killer, he was easily manipulated by Mrs. Loomis the way he was. But the guy was a great killer. There's no doubt about that. He was a great character. I think my biggest issue why I don't rank Mickey higher on the Ghostface list is because I liked Mickey as a character outside of Ghostface a little bit more. I kind of wanted Mickey to be like a final guy. And to be in more movies. I thought that he would have been a great friend of the group for like movies to come. I did. You know what I mean? Like I thought that he could have been excellent as like a returning character. Because I like Timothy Olyphant. He's a fucking fantastic actor. You know, but that doesn't exclude the fact that he's an awesome Ghostface still. He's a really good Ghostface. And his lines are fantastic. Like I said earlier, when my boys say, you know, that line with Mickey is a sick fuck who wants to get caught. Yeah, like I got it planned out. I'm gonna blame the movies. Like you know, shit like that. Like he definitely had some memorable dialogue for sure. Said, you got this Linda Hamilton thing going. Oh, don't stop. I like it. It's like he was good. Billy's mother. Like you, even if I liked Mickey more as a character outside of Ghostface, you cannot not love him as Ghostface because he is a damn good Ghostface. He is. That's right, Denisha. Denisha saying, yes, give Stu and Charlie Marcus Bailey. Yes, let's go. That's right. I want it. I want to see it happen. I think it would make a lot of sense. Also, it would make a lot of sense in the fact that, and I'm always going to bring this up, Scream 4, Charlie is supposed to be the new Stu. Trevor was the new Billy. Charlie is the new Stu. So they intertwine so perfectly, in my opinion. It's the perfect match. It's the perfect match. And it's even more of a perfect match because if we do believe Stu is the mastermind, who easier to manipulate than one Charlie Walker? Not trying to throw shade on Jill, who I love as well. But if Jill can manipulate Charlie, Stu could definitely manipulate Charlie into helping him create a Ghostface cult and kill people. So let's make it happen. Only one can hope for. We'll see. We'll see, Denisha. A real Ghostface. That's right. Ryan saying, mind you, Charlie is the most brutal Ghostface, arguably. Yeah. I agree with that. I do. I do think he's definitely up there. If he's not the most brutal, he's right there behind Billy and Stu, in my opinion. Like I said, as Ghostface, he got after it. He played no games whatsoever. You don't gotta like him as a character. You don't gotta like him as the dorky, simpy guy who got played by Jill. You don't have to like him for that. But I would hope that you would respect him as a Ghostface, because when you go back and watch Scream 4 and the tenacity and the aggressiveness that he showed as Ghostface, utter violence. Just utter violence. All right, guys, so we got less than 5 minutes here on the stream before I do wrap it up. I want to thank every single one of you guys for hopping in tonight for my first live stream back. I'm so appreciative of you guys. I am definitely going to be having more live streams coming out here in the coming weeks. I'm also going to get the podcast restarted and stuff like that. Just, give me a little bit of time to kind of get everything situated in terms of my schedule and how I want to go about things. But I am definitely going to be back doing more live streams a lot more often. And like I said, for my members, guys, we're definitely going to be having some members only content coming out here for you guys. I owe you guys a lot, especially for sticking through with me. Probably might do something. I'm actually planning on doing like maybe a whole 2-week period where running for like 2 weeks straight, we'll do like watch parties if not every single night, at least 5 nights out of the week. So I can get caught up with you guys' perks and, just showing my gratitude for you guys being a member here to the channel and always showing love and support. Always showing love and support here to me and the channel and stuff, even through my difficult times when I wasn't able to post and update anything and stuff. Like, you guys held it down, and I will forever be indebted to that. Honestly, like, when I was on my hiatus, I thought that people were going to leave, and you guys didn't. You guys stuck it out. You guys stuck around. And that just, honestly, it means so much. You know what I mean? It really does. So I owe you guys big time. And I'm not forgetting about you guys. I got shit whipping up in the kitchen, so don't worry. I also got some newer movies that you guys probably haven't seen before, that I actually have been catching up on, that I'm just getting hip to, that I want to share with you guys. You know what I mean? So it's definitely going to be some fun times here coming back on the channel. I can't wait. Can't wait to get to some of these movies. There's one in particular, and I'll share it real quick. I'll at least talk about it for a quick second, that I ran across the other day. And obviously a lot of you guys here are Scream fans. Most of you guys here are Scream fans and all that. You will love this movie. It's from 2012, and it's called Smiley. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched it. It has Keith David in it. It has Roger Bart, who played in Hostel Part 2. It has a few good cast members in it and stuff. Like, the cast is pretty solid. And all I'm going to say is, if you love Scream, you're going to love this movie. Because I stayed up the other night. I was just, browsing through, movies and stuff like that. Like, man, let me find some movies that I really never seen before and stuff like that. And, like, never like really paid attention to. And Smiley caught my attention, and I like it a lot. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. So that might have to be a live stream we're going to do here within the next week. A live watch party. Hey, Eric from Two Boys and Their Scary Pops. You're just popping in at the end, but I greatly appreciate you stopping in, my brother. It's good to see you. We got to get together for a stream, too. We have never done a stream together. That's got to change. That's definitely got to change. Seems like Paramount will use the money they are saving from not having Sam and Tara to make it a full-on Sydney story. That's possible. That's a good point. It's very possible, and I brought that up earlier, that if, with Melissa not being in this movie, even if they recast Samantha Carpenter, the actress that they recast to play Sam is going to come at a cheaper price, which should make it easier. Even if they have the core four come back and they just recast Sam, it will make it easier financially to get Nev back. We will see, my friend. We will see. We will definitely see. This is definitely a fun conversation, you guys. I mean, it's not fun, the situation what happened, but unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. We talked about it. We aired out our grievances. We said how we felt, and now we must move on, unfortunately. And it sucks for Melissa. I hope that this doesn't become a snowball effect to where she's going to get blackballed. I really don't, because I think she is a talented actress, and stuff. So, I mean, it sucks she's not going to be in the Scream franchise anymore, because I absolutely love her, Samantha Carpenter. But again, there's nothing we can do about that. We have to move forward. And that means moving forward with possible recast, maybe an entirely new direction. We will see as the months come out what they're going to do with Scream 7. So we're just going to have to move on. Ugh, I hate. They fired my honey dip. Oh, I hate it. But it's okay. I got 2 movies that I can watch her get her murder on. So those are going to be fond memories for me, watching Scream 5 and Scream 6, watching Melissa dice up Jack Quaid and Dermot Mulroney. You know what I mean? So fond memories, and we're going to just have to wait and see, what Scream 7 has for us. I will end it on this. I think Christopher Landon is going to take this movie. He's going to take the bull by the horn. He's going to take what he has, and he's going to make it the best Scream movie that he could possibly make it. I am that confident in that young man and his vision for Scream 7. I really like his I really like his directing. I think he's unique. I think he's going to bring some freshness to the Scream franchise that we hoped from Radio Silence, that maybe kind of felt a little bit flat, especially in terms of storytelling. So I have full confidence that Christopher Landon is going to get this thing under control, and he's going to make the Scream movie that he wants to make. And hopefully we all love it. That's all we can hope for at this point, guys. TJ asking, Marcus, did they did a good job hiding the killers, Scream 5 and Scream 6. They did a bad job. I'm sorry, I heard that totally wrong. Marcus, they did a bad job hiding the killers in Scream 5 and 6. Yes, they did. They made it super obvious. And that's what I mean about Christopher Landon now being at the helm of this thing. I think he's going to fix that issue. I really do. Because Scream 5, I knew it was Amber. I didn't really expect him to go the boyfriend route again, but they did. I didn't expect it, but they did. I didn't expect Richie, and maybe that's because I was biased because I liked Richie as a character. But they definitely did do a terrible job, absolutely terrible job, excuse me, of hiding the killers in Scream 6. And I think the most alarming thing about that statement, what you just said, TJ, is that Radio Silence knew that. They even said in an interview that they made it a point to make the killers obvious. And for a Scream movie, that's something you just don't do. And in my opinion, and I'm not trying to, throw bad shade on those guys or nothing, but the whole allure of a whodunit is for us to try to guess and most likely possibly be wrong. It's not for us to actually look and be like, okay, yep, we know they're the killer. Like when Quinn said what she said, about my brother and this and that, I'm like, yep, she's the killer. Yep. When Dermot came out, I'm just like, yep, he's the killer. Ethan, I already knew was the killer because Jack, I'm about to say, what's his name? Jack Champion followed Matthew Lillard on Instagram, which kind of told me, I'm like, okay, if he's following Stu Macher, if he's following Matthew Lillard, this kid has to be the fucking killer because he might be trying to take some things in terms of character-wise, what Stu Macher was, and add it to his character. I already knew Ethan was going to be the killer. I already knew that. So yes, I agree. They did a horrible job, especially in 6, with hiding the killers. And that's something I think Christopher Landon is going to definitely make sure doesn't happen in Scream 7. I think he's going to do a fantastic job of keeping us guessing all the way until we get the reveal. I do believe that. Eric's from Two Boys and Their Scary Pop saying, hope you have a great Thanksgiving, Marcus, and stopping in to hit the like. I greatly appreciate that, my friend. And just to let you guys all know before I do head out, I will be holding a live stream tomorrow. Basically, I'll be just doing like a happy Thanksgiving live stream, like a Q&A session. We can talk about, the new Thanksgiving movie. You know what I mean? Fucking love that movie. Or whatever. We could talk about Thanksgiving. We could talk about A Wonderful Knife. I'll answer some of you guys' questions. But most importantly, it's going to be a stream thanking you guys. Me showing my gratitude and thankfulness and my love for you guys all for being a part of this YouTube journey with me and showing the support and the love to the channel that you guys do. So just stay tuned for that community post. I will have it up at some point tomorrow or whatnot. I'm going to say roughly around tomorrow afternoon, but tomorrow night I am going to be live streaming again, as again, like I said, something for Thanksgiving, like Thanksgiving Eve, little Q&A, thanking you guys and stuff, where we're just going to bust it up. I'll answer your questions and we'll talk about some of these horror movies that just came out and other horror movies, whatever horror movies you guys want to talk about. I can't wait for that. It's been a little bit since I got to do one of these Q&As and just really have a busted up conversation about multiple horror movies at once. So it's definitely going to be a fun time. All right, everyone, I am going to head out for the night. I greatly appreciate everybody who stopped in to watch this stream. And most importantly, I appreciate everybody keeping it clean. We didn't get too over crazy, with the political aspects of what happened to Melissa and stuff. We aired out our grievances. We said what we had to say. And it was a great conversation. This was a really fun time. And I'm happy that I'm back, you guys. Here's to more live streams. Here's to more videos. Here's to you all. And I shot him 6 times, YouTube Horror Movie Channel. I will catch all you beautiful people tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody. Get some rest.
I shutting 6